Hello and welcome to ESGX Live, the community for information and education to inspire collaboration and action. We have a great show coming up for you today. We're joined by Veronica Monroe and Nigel Cumberland, who are both in the UK today, and with me, Nigel Lake in New York, and my colleague Paul Herman in San Francisco. We're going to explore what is it we each need to do to support our colleagues, teams, community, friends, families through this crisis, and in particular, all the stresses that it creates. One of the reasons that we wanted to do this is that it is clearly a very difficult time for many people. While some people will enjoy the challenges that come forward and they will find it rewarding and stimulating to try to solve them, for many people this is just very stressful. As this survey from mental health provider Ginger shows, for about 70% of the working population, this is the most stressful time of their entire professional careers. Now, of course, those stresses come about not just because of this health crisis, but because the COVID-19 health crisis has accelerated the impacts of robotisation and automation across a host of businesses. We're seeing this in the retail sector. We will see it across services that employ large numbers of people, like financial services, very likely. It will impact the property sector. Many of the themes that have been talked about under this heading, the future of work or the future of society as we've described it, because the impact is so broad, are playing out perhaps 3 to 5 years more rapidly than they might have done before. Now, the reason that this matters and how we respond to it matters is that the history has been that productivity benefits, i.e. the improvement in efficiency that flows from the use of automation broadly, have not flowed widely across society. The chart on the left shows the changes in real incomes by quintile. The two green lines are the top 2 quintiles who have done well, and the bottom 3 quintiles, 60% of the population, have seen barely no increase at all in real wages. The chart on the right shows just how far the top 5% have accelerated compared to the bottom quintile. Now, it's not all bad news. One of the benefits of robotisation and automation is that these technologies can address many areas that are just boring roles filled with drudgery, and the opportunity is to help people retrain and reskill into jobs and roles that are perhaps more creative, more caring, more interesting, possibly more rewarding. But as we've seen from the earlier charts, we have to find ways to do that which spread those benefits broadly enough, because if we don't, growth will be undermined, and that is prospectively a challenge for all of us. Now, it is a good moment for me to say a thoroughly good morning to everyone who has joined us from the Asia Pacific region. We know it is somewhere between early and very early in the morning with you, so thank you very much for being here. Good evening to everybody in Africa and in Europe. We appreciate you all staying up late. And of course, good afternoon to everybody here in the Americas, where Paul Herman and I are based. As we count down to the hour, let me just very briefly introduce our guests today. We have Veronica Monroe, who is a leadership coach and author. Her book, The Journey Inside, was released earlier this year. She was previously a senior executive in Standard Chartered and is widely experienced across the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and Europe as well. And Nigel Cumberland, who is an entrepreneur and now a leadership coach and also an author, and his, I think, possibly third book, 100 Things Successful People Do, is released in August. So with no more ado, let me hand you over to Paul